President Lewis wove back and forth as he dribbled the ball up the court, hounded by Terrence Glover, a former NBA point guard. At age 52, Lewis refused to resign himself to sports of leisure. He craved the kind of activity that required cardiovascular fitness, unlike the string of septuagenarians who had occupied the White House before him. And during his campaign, he even promised voters they would never see him photographed on a golf course, vowing to bring vim and vigor back to the Oval Office. Lewis whipped a bounce pass to one of his aides on the wing before spinning and using a screen set by another teammate to get open. The aide flung the ball back to an open Lewis behind the three-point arc, where he knocked down the long-range shot. "I believe that's game, gentlemen," Lewis said with a wide grin. Glover put his hands on his hips and shook his head. "They told me to let you win," he said, eyeing Lewis. "But I ignored them and still lost." "For your pride's sake, you can tell your friends that you went easy on me," Lewis said. "And they'll probably believe you. It's not like I went to Duke on a basketball scholarship." Glover furrowed his brow. "Seriously?" he asked, cocking his head. Lewis nodded. "Just don't ask me if I ever got in any games." The two men laughed and shook hands before Lewis caught a towel from one of his aides while walking off the court. Ryan Tanner, Lewis's new chief of staff, ran a hand through his hair and let out a breath through puffed cheeks. In his other hand, he clutched a tablet. "Did any of your assistants get footage of that last shot?" Lewis asked, hoping to postpone the bad news he could tell he was about to receive. Tanner shook his head. "That was good," he said, nodding to the court before holding out the tablet for Lewis. "But this isn't." Lewis mopped his face with the towel as he took the device from his chief of staff. "Do I really want to see this?" Lewis asked. "Just tap the screen." Lewis dried his hands on the side of his shorts before complying. A second later, the face of Derek Hilton, the popular podcaster of the show The Hilt of Truth and self-proclaimed investigative journalist, filled the screen. He stared menacingly at the camera as he introduced the topic of his show. President Lewis had a sterling reputation and had largely avoided any damaging scandals, Hilton said, his gaze steely. But on this episode of The Hilt of Truth, I'll offer up a reason why, and be prepared to be shocked. Lewis tapped the screen, pausing the video. "What is this?" "Just keep watching," Tanner said. Lewis sighed and followed suit. After the intro music played, with an accompanying montage of images of Hilton interviewing guests both in studio and out in the field, Hilton returned, his tone somber.